All right, welcome back. Another very engaging panel of guests I have. Experts in their own field, conflict management experts, foreign policy experts, geostrategic experts. Joining me, Einar Tanjan, political affairs commentator. He's joining us live from Beijing. We'll try and understand what's really happening in the Forbidden City insofar as the Taiwan developments go. Then we have Edward P. Joseph. I believe he has joined. I can't see him if PCA can help. A foreign policy analyst. He's been an adjunct lecturer and senior fellow at the Foreign Policy Institute. Oh, okay, that's Edward P. Joseph. And I'm told we are also being joined in by Lord Rami Ranger, CBE, member of the House of Lords, and of course, a businessman live from the United Kingdom. If I could begin with Einar Tanjan first and try to understand, as I said, what's going on in Beijing's mind. Mr. Tanjan, you know, I am going through some figures of the last couple of years of Chinese incursions into the Taiwanese airspace, as they call it, the ADIZ. 2020, 380 aircraft of the Chinese People's Liberation Army Air Force crossed the median line and went into the Taiwanese airspace. In 2021, it almost tripled to 960. In 2022, it again doubled to almost 1727. And in 2023, the final numbers are yet to come, but almost 2,000 Chinese aircraft getting into the Taiwanese airspace. So obviously, there has been a very mathematical build-up of Chinese aggression vis-a-vis Taiwan. Now, with the kind of results that have come last week, you think, though of course the Taiwanese government has been conciliatory, not sort of escalating, not showing any exuberance, but you think this is a red flag for China, and we could be looking at the possibility of Chinese escalating the military aggressive posture even further.
No, not really. I mean, what you have in Beijing is they've been quite firm that Taiwan is part of China. There's only one China. And that was agreed to by the United States back in the late 70s, early 80s in the series of 3 communiques. Since that time, Washington has said that they have a different interpretation of what one China means. They have been arming Taiwan, resuming high-level delegations. Nancy Pelosi went there. And since that time, also, very sophisticated weapons, which they say will help, quote, Taiwan defend itself. This idea that it's somehow just Beijing that is ramping up is wrong. They're reacting to what they see as provocations from pro-independence groups like Mr. Lai, who said on many occasions that he is a worker for the independence of Taiwan and also Washington. So there's always 2 sides to a story, and that's Beijing's.
But then Mr. Lai is the president now. So what do you do? What would Beijing do? That's what I'm saying. Does Beijing see it as a provocation?
No, they'll see a provocation if he tries to hold a referendum or make a move that says that Taiwan is somehow independent. They could not be more clear about that. But you know, they see a gradual erosion of his power. Remember, at the last election, they got over 50%, and they had a majority in the Legislative Council. This time around, although he was first past the post, he only had 40% of the vote. That means 60% of the people did not support him. In terms of the legislature, they are actually at 51 members, elected members. The other party has 52, and then there's one with 8. You start adding it up, it's clear that Mr. Lai will not have a majority in the Legislative Council, will not be able to push any kind of real extreme policies. So we'll have to see. I mean, Mr. Lai has also understood the realities of the situation in terms of the Legislative Council and the ability to pass laws and promulgate his policies. So it's right now it's a compromise. As long as no one makes any sudden moves, it should be fine.
Okay.
But you know, keep in mind that if Beijing wants to exert pressure on Taiwan 40% of Taiwan's GDP is tied to the mainland. They can have ample opportunities to use economic carrots and sticks. If they had really wanted to cripple Taiwan's economy, they could have done it a long time ago. They do not. They see Taiwan as part of China. They want to see it succeed. But they do look forward to the day when it is reunified formally with the mainland.
All right. So you also sound a little conciliatory, but the fact of the matter is that the Chinese have been building up, stepping up pressure on Taiwan. We don't know when this can actually lead to a real military action. But Professor Joseph, you know, on the Taiwan side, okay, it seems as of now some conciliatory noises coming in from both the sides, in fact. But you see, the Erbil strike carried out by Iran 2 days back landed pretty close to the US consulate there in Erbil in northern Iraq. Now, if this close was closer than close and say landed nearer than it did to the US consulate, you think we are looking at a flashpoint in what's really happening in the Middle East, larger Middle East, over the last 1 week, 10 days, fortnight?
Let me address that. First say it's good to be with you, the fellow guests, and of course your viewers. And just quickly on Taiwan, just to note that our dean at Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies, James Steinberg, a former Deputy Secretary of State, along with former National Security Advisor Steve Hadley, just went to Taiwan in the immediate aftermath of those important elections, carrying a message of support for Taiwan democracy, but not, of course, encouraging any moves towards independence. So this was, again, the message from Washington, respect and congratulations for democracy, but not interested in any provocative moves from Taiwan, and that was very clear. With respect to to Iran, of course, we have to be very clear here that Iran remains a menace, a source of great instability in the Middle East, and its actions, including, you're absolutely correct, this strike which violated the sovereignty of Iraq, which Iran claims it has close relations with. There in the north, in Kurdistan, it was very dangerous, and it killed Iraqi citizens, that is, these Kurdish civilians there who had nothing to do whatsoever, nor did any other country have anything to do with the terrorist strike in Kerman in Iran earlier this month. And we see it's very clear there should be no mystery here. Why Iran did this? They did this because they're exposed, because the real culprit who committed the terrorist act in Iran was the Islamic State. It was not Israel, as Iran falsely claimed, and we have the proof of that because Iran itself hit Islamic State targets within Syria. But it had to cover its move. It had to create a cover for its move against the Islamic State because Iran portrays itself as this leader of the so-called axis of resistance. So it had to do some strike that it claimed had some connection to Israel, which everyone knows was false. Yes, the situation is dangerous because Iran has its tentacles in the Middle East. Please.